What is going on? Sergeant Gaz here. Hope everybody's having a great day back here on the Modern Warfare 3 beta. And today we are on week 2 of the Modern Warfare 3 beta. The Xbox and PC players can now play if they have early access with a code. PlayStation is open beta, so anybody on PlayStation can currently play for free. Today's video, we are going to be getting into the best PC settings and controller combination because we are using controller on PC. This is the way we play, and it feels amazing, feels beautiful compared from coming to PlayStation. We're gonna pop up on the screen the guy from Twitter. He's like a very big tech wizard, and he builds a bunch of PCs for people and optimizes them. He has the best settings here when it comes to the graphics, getting the best FPS and keeping your GPU temperatures quite low as well if they do get pretty high. So we're going off of his graphic settings and then my controller settings because I still use default controllers. I want to say that I do have the best settings for default controllers, and that's why my movement is so crazy if you've seen it in previous videos. First off, we're going to go ahead and get into the graphic settings, and then we'll get into the controller settings. We're going to have these all time-stamped. If you want to see controller settings or the graphic settings, you can skip through the video and find those. For the graphics here, we're going to get into it. First off, the big thing, display mode. This is a big one. Full screen borderless. I personally have it on full screen borderless because I have more than one monitor, and I'll move my mouse over to a different screen to like type on Discord or anything like that. It's easy for me to do, but this is more taxing on your GPU, so your GPU temps will be a little bit higher. If you have a crazy computer, this borderless is not going to matter that much. But if you'd want to keep your GPU temps lower, or you don't have a second monitor, you can keep it on full screen exclusive, so it's not using as much resources. Of course, the display monitor and the display adapter is going to be whatever is in your computer. That's just what's in mine. My screen refresh rate is locked to 165 because that is what my refresh rate is. I'm pretty sure some people can customize these and change them if you'd like. For some reason, mine is completely locked, maybe due to being on full screen borderless. But yeah, I am on 1440p, 165 frames. I'm getting a lot of frames on 1440p. I just have it locked. I could probably get even more than 165 in game. Aspect ratio we have on automatic. VSync is off. Custom frame rate, this is something you can put on unlimited if you don't really care. I like to keep mine fixed to 165 because that's how many hertz my monitor has. There's no point for me to go any higher. It's unnecessary and using unnecessary resources on my GPU and CPU. So I keep mine locked to whatever the hertz are of my monitor. And then the menu custom frame rate I keep to 60 because I'm not playing the game, so there's no point of me going any crazier than that. And then out of focus custom frame rate we have set to 30. So those are going to be all the custom frame rates that we have on this. I haven't touched. No reason to touch that. Display gamma is on 2.2 sRGB. Brightness is obviously whatever you prefer. Constrained mouse to game window off. Focus mode off. NVIDIA reflex low latency we have on. High dynamic range HDR is off. I'm just going to completely turn this off. And this is going to be for this section. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the next section after you copied all of this. Go over to quality. Quality presets, you don't even have to mess with this top thing. Just make sure you're changing all these. Our render resolution is 100. This is the little sweet spot. Dynamic resolution we have off. Upscaling and sharpening is on this. You're going to have to scroll down a little bit, click into it because it's at the bottom here, and you're going to click this Fidelity FX Cast. This is what you're going to turn on. Show more. Make sure this is set all the way up to 100. If it's not changed already, you're going to click that, then show less. We go down to anti-aliasing, SMAA T2X. Show more. This is going to be set to low. Make sure that's set to low. Show less. VRAM scale target on 90. Variable rate shading off. Our texture resolution very low. Texture filter anti-satropic. I'm not even sure how to say that. Normal. Depth of field off. Detail quality level normal. Particle resolution very low. Bullet impacts off. Persistent effects off. Shader quality low. On-demand texture streaming off. And all this in here is already off, so you don't have to worry about it. Local texture streaming quality normal. And then shadow and lighting, we're going to have shadow quality at very low. Screen space shadows off. Ambient occlusion is off, so this ain't even going to matter either. Show less. Screen space reflections off. Static reflections quality low. And then environment, we have tessellation off. Terrain memory medium. Volumetric quality low. Deferred physics quality off. Weather grid volume off. And then you're going to set water quality to default, and that is going to be the quality side of things. This is all set. Make sure you have it all the same as mine. And then we go over to the final thing, which is view. This is subject to change depending on what you like. For field of view, I like to use 105 FOV. Some people like to use 120. Some people like to use 80 as the default. My little sweet spot is like 105 to 110. I like to mess around in that area. ADS field of view, I don't think I have touched any of these other things that much. ADS field of view affected, weapon field of view default, vehicle field of view default. World motion blur is something I did change. We turn that off, and then weapon motion blur as well. We turn both of these off because it can be kind of straining to your eyes with the type of motion. In any game I play, I turn off motion blur. It's just kind of unnecessary. So that, of course, is your personal preference if you don't want this on. It just makes the game look more smooth when you're playing, and you really don't need motion blur in a game that you're worried about being the first one to hit your shot. Film grain is going to be set to 0. First person camera movement, default. Spectator camera, helmet camera. I mean, you could change this stuff. This is all just personal preference. Inverted flashbang off. Obviously, if you turn this on, I'm pretty sure your flashbangs go black instead of white, so it doesn't freaking blind your eyes. I'm actually going to turn that on because I want to try it out myself. But yeah, that is going to do it for the graphic side of things. This should help you increase your FPS, lower your GPU temps if they are pretty high. And of course, if your computer can't handle these, you just got to make sure that you turn down your quality, some of your qualities, turn them down a little more so your PC can handle it. I currently have a 3080 Ti in my computer, and I'm able to get the 165 FPS that I have it set to when playing in game. Now we are going to go ahead and get into the controller section of the video. If you guys use controller on PC or even on PlayStation or Xbox, you can use these same settings. I'm not too sure about the Xbox. It might get a little confusing, but here today we have our controller input, of course, and we're going to edit the button layout because they have custom layouts that you can use. You're going to copy everything here today. It might be a little confusing if you're not used to these. Some people have used my settings and they absolutely love them. I find this to be one of the best settings for default controllers when it comes to movement and being able to slide and shoot at the same time, all that stuff, just being smooth with your movement. So first off, we do use a stick and move hybrid tactical type gameplay, and that's why I do this whole remapping thing. We have jump stand mantle on R3. This is what we're going to use to jump in game. X is what I use to slide. Square stays the same for reload. Triangle for next weapon stays the same. And then we flip our R1 and L1, L2 and R2, so that when we aim and shoot our weapon, it is L1 and R1 instead of L2 and R2, because it does go a little quicker. That like split millisecond of time that you get to shoot somebody is a lot better when it comes to switching to L1 and R1. And then your lethal and tactical are going to be R2 and L2. And I want to do a quick little thing here. My tactical equipment is on up on the D-pad because my L2 is actually broken on my controller. It, for some reason, it just doesn't work at all. So I'm using up on the D-pad. So yours here would be L2, of course. Your sprint would be L3 still. Melee is going to be circle. Your location is going to be up on the D-pad. Mine's L2 because I switched my up on the D-pad to my tactical, so that's why it switched my L2 over to this. So all you gotta do is just make sure that it's set to this, and that should, yeah, okay, there we go. So it shows for you tactical equipment L2, mark location, ping wheel up on the D-pad, and then all this other stuff here is the same. So if you want to make sure that this is all good for you, copy and try out these settings. For your controller, we have bumper ping off. Stick layout preset is all default. Controller vibration we have off. This is a personal preference thing. I keep my controller vibration off because it just allows you to have like better control over your controller when you're shooting at somebody in game. All these little things help you be the better player in a gunfight. Trigger effects off because that is just really funky and weird on the PlayStation 5 controller, L2 and R2. I don't like that stuff when I'm throwing my grenades or my tacticals, so we keep that off. Dead zone inputs, I don't mess with this. I have that all defaulted. For aiming, we use horizontal vertical 6.6. That is the sensitivity I like to use. And then our ADS sensitivity multiplayer is set to 0.90. All this stuff is default. We have it on 1.0, 1.0. Vertical aim axis, didn't touch that. Tactical stance sensitivity is 1.0. I'm pretty sure everything else down here is stuff that I did not touch. It's all defaulted to whatever it was set to, so you shouldn't have to change it. Obviously, you can see on the screen if you need to touch any of this or not. And then for gameplay, we have automatic tactical sprint. This is one of those things, personal preference. If you want to have this off and you play better, turn it off. But this is really good to have, make it easier for you to slide, sprint, and all that good stuff. The only problem with automatic sprint is if you're going for camos with like shotguns, or you're a shotgun user, this is going to make it really difficult to like hip fire, or any gun in general to hip fire. So if you have problem with hip firing weapons because you're automatically sprinting, just turn this off and don't deal with that. And then everything else here you can copy or put the way that you want to. I'm pretty sure I haven't touched any of these other things. Maybe a couple of them, I'm not too sure, but you could just go through them, copy whatever you want here, and try it for yourself. If you don't like it, you know, change it back to what you like, of course. And that is going to do it for all of the controller settings. If this video did help you in any way with graphic settings or controller settings on your PC, make sure to drop a like on the video to show your support. Subscribe to the channel for more Modern Warfare 3 content. Hopefully this does help you guys a little bit when you're enjoying the Modern Warfare 3 beta this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.